So now what we're going to do is a very similar process. I'm going to take my trim and outline the rest of my pillow, just on one side. So right now I'm just focusing on that front side because that's the side my trim already began on, and we just want to complete that look. The trim is going to outline the edges, so as you can see here, we're making sure that it is always facing the inside. We do that because then when you turn your pillow inside out on the bordered edge, it's going to look awesome. So some rules to keep in mind are, as you're doing trim, whenever you reach a corner, you want to make sure that your edges line up as best you can. So what you're going to have to do there is make sure you fold it. Give it a little lip, fold it over itself. I'm going to pin those, and then I'm going to add my other layer of fabric over it. I'm going to give you a few minutes at home to do the same, and then I'll show you what's next. Now remember when I was telling you how to keep that extra 2 inches hanging over the edge when you were sewing your zipper? That is so we can make sure we have a nice overlap when it's time to reach the end of our cording. So what I'm going to do is take the cording or the trim that's already there, and I'm going to make a little corner out of him, and then I'm just going to overlap these two so that it's nice and flush. So now there are 2 pieces of trim overlapping. I'm going to pin them in place. Then I'm just going to cut off this extra trim so you don't even see it. Now that I have loosely pinned my trim in place, it's time to add the other side. So what we're going to do here is just stack the back over the front so that the right sides are together. Sound familiar? It's the same process we've been doing, but this time we need to take the trim into account. I'm just going to repin the 2 sides together with the trim in mind. So once I add new pins, I feel safe enough to remove my old pins. There we go. Now I'm just going to do this all the way around. Then we're going to sew it up just like we normally do. We pin that up. Quite a process. I don't even want to count how many pins are in here, but they're there for a reason. Now I'm just going to put this in my machine, stitch it up. I'll just start at one end, work my way around to the other. Now the trick is, so many tricks, right? We're just going to spend an extra amount of attention to detail whenever we're at a corner. I still have my zipper foot on because the cording is so thick that I'm going to be wanting to use that zipper foot the whole time. And yeah, just every corner, you already know the secrets to sewing corners. I'm going to put this into my machine. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to put them back down. I'm going to make sure everything looks good. And we sew. You know, go ahead and take your time. This is going to be a little bit of a process, but you just want to make sure that you're sewing on your 5/8 inch seam allowance, that you're sewing right there next to that cording. All right, I sewed that up. Now we've got our zipper all locked inside. So what you're going to do is either reach in, maybe you can grab it. If not, hey, reach through with your hands through the fabric and just feel for it. Because what you're going to have to do is unzip it so we can get to the pretty side of our fabric. Once you've done that, just reach your hands on inside, and we are going to turn the whole thing right side out. So now I'm just going to poke out all of my corners so we've got them nice and sharp. Then we'll be ready to put our pillow inside.